Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. I'm EJ Scott. Today, my guest is Ayelet Zurer. Ayelet plays Vanessa on Netflix's Marvels Daredevil. She's done a lot of other stuff, though, of course. Before I talk about what we talked about, let me give myself a plug. Follow me on Twitter at EJ Scott and the podcast at EJ Podcast. I'm on Instagram, EJScott1106. My website, EJScott.com. I made a documentary called Running Blind about me running 12 marathons in 12 states in 12 months, blindfolded in 2012. I did that because I'm losing my eyesight to an eye disease called choroideremia, and it runs in my family. My grandfather was blind from it. My brother is legally blind and going blind from it, and I have two nephews that also have it, so I'm always looking to raise money and awareness. So go check out Running Blind on iTunes, Google Play, or Amazon. And for $2 or $3, you can rent it or own it, a digital copy. And the money will be well spent, and your time will be well spent as well. And that would be great if you could go do that. Thank you so much. Also, go subscribe to this podcast on iTunes and iHeartRadio, and please leave a rating and a review on iTunes so that more people can take a look at this podcast. We want to get more ears on it. And I think that is about it. Okay, so Ayelet is on a show called Daredevil. My girlfriend is on that show as well. And Ayelet was on the first and third season of Daredevil. So spoiler alert, if you have not seen season 3, we talk a lot about season 3. So go check that out first. So we talk about a lot of things. Ayelet was born in Israel, and her mother was a World War II survivor. She fled to stay safe. She stayed in a convent for years and had to lie about who her parents were, like really crazy stuff. And we talked about some of that. We also talk about Ayelet and her start in acting, and she did part of the start in acting was her joining the Israeli army, and her doing some acting in there. We talked about her first American job working for Steven Spielberg and what that was like in a movie called Munich, acting opposite Eric Bana. And after that, she's worked with Ron Howard on Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks. We talk a lot about Vincent D'Onofrio and working with him on Daredevil. Talk about being a mom and getting married and all that stuff. So much to talk about. We had a great talk. I hope you will enjoy this, listening to our talk as much as I enjoy talking to her. So from October 29th, 2018, this is my talk with Ayelet Zurer. Hi, Ayelet.
Hello, you said my name right.
Did I do it right?
You did. That's really good.
Well, Deborah taught me how to say it.
Good job.
She said, you taught her,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't scream it, I yell it.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you tell people?
I say it, I scream it, I yell it. That's where I really reach like a place where, I have to do this, because after that it's like a whole month of like, I yell
it. I guess people butcher your name quite often.
Quite often.
Especially
That
in the
and
States.
my second last name is also
That's Zurer?
the Zurer.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not so bad.
It's just a weird name.
Well, it's an Israeli name, yeah?
No, actually it's Russian.
Oh, it's Russian. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But you were born in Israel, correct?
Yeah.
In Tel Aviv?
I was born in Tel Aviv. My family is from Russia and Czechoslovakia, but they all moved to Tel Aviv, and I was like born there.
You were born there?
Yeah.
Why did they move?
World War II,
Yeah.
all kinds of bad stuff.
The usual.
The usual,
World War II. Wow, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
How old were your parents then?
So my mom was 16 when she came to Israel.
Wow.
My dad was actually born there, but his whole family moved from Russia quite at the beginning of the century. So we're talking that like so he was born in 25. My dad was really really old. He passed away this year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, so my mom went through the war and then only a bunch of years later came back, moved to Israel.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have my family, particularly my mom's side, has some crazy stories.
Really, about the war and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Do you know some of them?
I do. You want to hear it?
Sure.
We're diving into that.
Yeah, let's just do World War II's though. It's like the History Channel.
So I know, and everybody's now going away. So what they did there, where she lived, which was the Slovakian part of Czechoslovakia, because then they separated and became two countries. What my grandma did was to send the girls, her two daughters, my mom and my aunt, to live with other families.
Okay.
Pretending to be their kids.
Oh, wow.
So can you imagine what that does to you?
Oh, my God.
As a person?
Yeah.
And then after 2 years or so, when it became really dangerous and people were starting to snitch on one another, and, it was a small place, so she was afraid that somebody will say, hey, these are not these people's kids. They're actually, these Jewish blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So she took them midnight and moved them to a convent, and they lived in a convent for a bunch of years until it became, again, very, very dangerous. And even then, so my mom actually grew up Christian.
Wow, well, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
She's Jewish, but she grew up in a convent.
I know.
That's
so she has a
interesting.
very, I think, complicated relationship with the concept of God because of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
What does she think of religion now? Does she? You're on a show that's about religion, really. There's
somehow,
a lot,
and I am also like I see myself as a faithful person. I'm not religious in any way or shape or form, but I do believe in like a higher power and a connectivity between everybody because I believe in science and I really truly love physics and I understand physics deeply. So I do understand that there's a connectivity between us, whether we believe it or not. So yeah, she's blocked that completely.
Really?
Yeah. And so after the war, so she pulled them from the convent. They went to the mountains where they survived the last year, in deer shack. Yeah, there were partisans.
Wow.
So they were living in the middle of the forests, and all the people who ran from the war, including Germans, stopped by the place. And there's like a lot of stories about how my grandma fed like German Nazi soldiers, speaking German, pretending to be German, and then realizing that they were escaping as well because they didn't want to participate in the war. And so there's like all this,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Inglourious Bastards?
Yes.
Remember that's like the first scene where Christoph Waltz goes into like this cabin.
Yeah.
And then he's doing this long talk with this guy and having coffee or something. And then under the floor, they're hiding people.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. It's hard to understand sitting here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Or any kind of other city where you have like cereal in the morning, and you order stuff from Amazon.
Yeah.
It's trippy to realize that people actually had to live in the middle of the mountain, fearing their life and pretending to be something completely different from what they are just to be alive.
I mean,
isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, and they shouldn't have had. They should get to live the simple life and not have those kinds of stresses and stuff. It's no fair. It's not fair.
And it's the crazy thing to me is that today in this world things still happen.
Yeah,
it's still happening.
I know with this current administration and all that stuff.
All over the world, really.
Yeah, all over the world. Yeah. Well, you're involved with freedom.org.
So freedom.org is really just my husband's website.
That's
so
that's your husband's
It's not
website.
a human rights organization. It's really just a surfing school.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's interesting because I went on it and it's about like slavery around the world,
Yeah, is it funny? Because I care deeply about that, but it just happens to be the name that we chose, and then realize that actually there's a lot of movement with that name. And so, but we kept it
interesting.
because it's, part of our belief.
Yeah. Wow. Because you seem pretty. You seem pretty active. You seem like an activist yourself. Would you consider yourself an activist?
I don't think I'm an activist.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't participate in a group of,
Okay.
as a. I think that's how you call an activist. But I
Okay.
do stuff on my own.
Because I saw like
You know?
you did a PETA.
Yes.
Ad, I guess. Yeah.
Against fur.
Against fur. Yeah.
Yes,
Obviously.
that I did. That's true. If you, I
If
mean,
you're doing so for PETA,
Yeah.
it's probably not
Yeah.
cool for. But so you're very involved in that way.
yeah, I like to help people in need when I can find a place or an organization that does something that I believe in. I don't specifically relate it to specific one.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just do-
You're a free agent.
I'm a free agent.
You can
exactly.
get around.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You can help everybody.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Are you a citizen
Yes.
of the U.S.? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be voting on
Yeah,
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh boy, me
Yeah,
too.
I have all the paperwork. I have my
Yeah.
list of people I'm
Me
about
too.
to vote to.
Me
I don't
too.
know the judges. That part I don't. You might teach me about that later.
Maybe I'll show you my list.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
show
show
you
you
my
my list.
All right. This is going to be good. Let's see what we agree
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Probably most of it.
I think so.
Is this your first? This is my first time I'm voting midterms.
Yes,
I've
me too.
never voted midterms.
Yeah, I
before.
never voted. Well, first of all, I'm a relatively new citizen.
How new?
And so I could vote when Trump was actually
Elected. Yeah.
but I wasn't in the country. I was in Prague filming,
Mm-hmm.
and was just not organized enough to, figure out how to vote when you're outside of the country.
yeah.
So I just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, LA, that's okay. LA or the California has ballots that you can vote and send away and stuff for that. But not every state does. Only a few
you
states.
could, but this is the whole timing thing. And if you're not, you know what, it's really hard for me to, once I step into a role, to organize my life. So I'm completely immersed, and then my whole life goes to hell.
Well, you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
so
so I wasn't able to. But this time I am, and it's organized and prepared by
We're all
the
set.
table. And yes, I'm set.
yeah, so this will be a very interesting election. This will be very interesting. I am so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to have you back in season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I was so excited. You were not in season 2. Were you disappointed that you weren't in season 2?
I was disappointed. I was hoping to have some, but I realized that they were building towards something completely different to bring other characters, and it was. I think somehow Daredevil is very male-oriented in terms of the characters, even though there's great. I mean, come on, Karen. They're great women characters, but it's really like the men that drive the story mostly. So I get why they're doing it the way they do it. I truly actually hope that in the 4th season they'll step up the game with Vanessa, but we'll see.
I bet they will.
I hope so.
I bet she's a power player in the comics.
I think so. I think she's a great character. I think she can do some good stuff and
Have
stuff.
you read the comics? Have you read some comics?
I did part. The part with Vanessa, because I wanted to see what's the extreme, like where she ends up and what happens to her, and how can I pull all the way back to the beginning, and what's the beginning,
I'm way behind on my comic reading, but I was reading Brian Michael Bendis stuff, and Vanessa ends up like having Fisk's son killed and stuff like that.
He
right?
kills him.
Oh, he kills. Oh, he kills him.
There's some serious Greek tragedy going on at the end of this thing. Yeah,
that was pretty awesome. I hope they bring something like that. And I mean, you guys don't have kids yet in the show, but
no.
So Vanessa. So how do we see Vanessa as a gallery owner in the first episode that you did, and she's pretty mild mannered, I'd say. Just like, oh, look, she's a nice gallery owner and everything. And by the end of season 3, you're like a mob boss practically.
Yeah.
What's that as an actress? How do you go from point A to point B for yourself in your techniques and stuff?
Well, for me, I always knew where she's gonna go. So
Did
it was
you knew that part?
I kind of knew that she would end up right. Once she steps into his world, she's gonna end up in on the dark side somehow, right?
Yeah.
So I chose for her to start completely on the right side, which for me was the light side.
Yeah.
The place full of light. But I always knew that there has to be some space inside of her that's so empty that she has to fill it up with something so complicated and maybe even destructive for her and for her life. So I was, just creating that space for myself where there's a lot of like childlike, hopeful sweetness, hopeful light creature with a hole in it. And so for me at the beginning, I thought, it kind of I sort of had a whole story of where she comes from and why she's coming there and what kind of father she had. And
are you allowed to? Are you comfortable talking about?
I don't know if I want to share that.
Okay.
It's kind of the secret recipes that you don't want to share.
It's personal.
But
can you tell me anything?
But I can tell you that I stumbled upon a picture online, and that picture is a black and white picture. I wish I had it here. That you see a really nice, like, little girl crouching on a deck where there's a huge fish dead, lying dead on the, probably by a lake or something.
Right.
And she bends over and she opens the fish mouth and she looks into the deep mouth, like the abyss of the beast,
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, that's Vanessa. Because she's childish and intrigued, and just life kind of slides over her and doesn't really hurt her,
And she's not worried about...
And she's not worried, and she's kind of brave in a stupid way also,
Right.
and curious also, like a child.
Yeah.
And that's why she's intrigued by that power, that darkness is intriguing for her. And that's kind of how she starts. Then she falls in love. Yeah,
with the most... And those two are an interesting pair because he's very childlike too.
But she too.
Yeah,
even
her
though
too.
I play her as very feminine. That's the outside mask. That's the sort of the wrap that she had put on as a gallery owner. Because you need to work with really rich people that can have anything they want and drive excellent cars and dress in the best dresses, and you put on this thing, but on the inside she's not. She's that kid from the dock,
What were you like as a kid?
What was I like as a kid? It's a good question. I'm not sure. I think I was having periods in my life. As a very young child, I was very free. I was always very artistic because I always painted and illustrated, and so acting was really not my thing at all.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was a little shy. I was always in the company of very old people because my parents were older, my grandma was older, so I was hanging out with adults, a lot. And I was the young kid in the house. My sisters, older than me, and at some point they left the house already. So I kind of grew up almost like an observer.
Okay. How many sisters?
I have 2 sisters.
2 older sisters.
Yeah.
How much older?
12 years of difference and 7 years of difference.
That's pretty sizable.
It's
Especially at 12
it's sizable, yeah, and plus one of them left the house when she was already 15, and the other one
15.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hang out a lot with grandmothers.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's an interesting time. I think I was very naive for a very long time until I left my house and moved to New York, kind of thing, and then I sort of started seeing the world.
What was your mom like growing up? She had such a difficult childhood. Was she worried about your guys' childhood? Was she protective or?
Yeah, we had a very protective household, very strict, but also very lively. You know,
Okay.
a lot of people. My mom cooks. She was like a great cook, you know.
Yeah.
So she always had like fantastic lunches and like you know, like weekend dinners and all that stuff, and guests coming to eat, and like a lot of food. And so it was very varied. It was like my dad always brought animals into the house. I remember we had bunnies and little cheeks and you know, and dogs and like trees in the yard and stuff like that. So it was really
That's where
a
your
combination of things, you
That's
know.
your love of animals probably
Yes.
comes from that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Does she make a good omelet like Wilson? Does she make a good
No, Wilson's
Fisk?
omelet is better.
He's got that pretty nailed down, the omelet.
The omelet's good.
What was your dad like?
My dad was really an artist that had to work to
Pay the bills.
pay
and
the
stuff.
bills. Yeah. So
What kind of artist?
He was a painter, and then later on in life he wrote a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. But he, you know, he didn't. This was not his path. He didn't really follow that path.
What was his job? What did he do?
Just
for work?
like a government job. You know,
Government,
like like a day. You know, like a boring
cubicle.
kind of.
Yeah.
But building, you know, in a department like a government department for building and how do they call it? I have a name for it. I'm not sure.
And this was
Well, you
in
development
Israel?
in Israel, yeah.
In Israel.
Yeah.
How'd your parents meet?
They met in Israel, I think, somewhere in Haifa, like a different city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were
she
they-
was a nurse and he was the thing, and they met and they loved to dance. They used to have parties, like dance parties in the house,
Oh, really?
like with records and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of music did they like?
I can't remember. I think it was you know, all the swings and
Oh, really?
yeah.
They're lively.
There was a lot of music in the house because my mom played piano and stopped at some point, and so I took the piano for a little bit and remember like sitting down and listening to records, like classicals.
Yeah.
Particularly, yeah, very European in
Yeah.
some ways, yeah.
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 And your parents stayed together?
Yeah, they're still
Hold on.
together. I mean, he
Your
passed
fa-
away this year, so.
I'm
they
sorry,
were-
how
yeah.
did he pass? Can you...
Well, he was 92, you know, at some point, and you know,
92.
he kind of
It's a
get
good
close.
run.
It's a good run.
I always say that because my grandmother was 92 when she
yeah.
passed away. So a
Yeah.
few years ago. You know, we should all be so lucky to get to 92, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, 92. And how old's your mom?
85.
Okay, so
You
she
would-
was a bit younger.
Yeah, she was a bit younger, but still, you know.
Yeah. 85. That's amazing too. Where is she? Is she still in Israel?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is it hard being away from her so far?
Yeah, it's hard, but she's gonna come.
She's gonna
She's
come
actually
visit?
come visit. Yeah.
No kidding. That's a
Yeah.
long flight.
Yeah, we actually meet in New York, and then we hang out a little bit, and then we take another flight. That's the only way to do it, because
Wow.
it's like a 15 hours
No
flight.
shit.
Yeah.
And for an 85-year-old woman, that's not.
That's
that's rough.
a struggle.
That's a struggle.
But we're positive.
Well, it's very nice of her to come visit. Has she visited before?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
How long will she stay? I mean, she should stay a while.
Yeah, she's definitely staying
You
a
know?
while.
What do your sisters do?
One of them works with kids in risk, street kids
Where's that?
in Israel too.
Israel too. Wow.
And the other one has like a secondhand clothing store, and she's like, she has like, amazing taste, and she also really is an artist, but she also kind of, never really. She's not a very. She likes the comfortable life, you know. She's not a very go getter.
Driven.
Driven,
motivated.
lady. Yeah.
But she's helping people with like secondhand clothing stores.
No.
and stuff?
So one helps kids, and the other one has the secondhand like designer clothing, and she's like has her own store, and she's like, you know, like a mini
Kardashian. That's pretty great though. Especially your sister helping other kids and stuff like that. You know, you were in the army in Israel.
It's a mandatory.
It's
thing,
mandatory. Yeah, I knew a girl. I went to acting school with a girl that did that. That's pretty intense. Do you think?
It's not as intense as people think because you really can choose where to go. You can do theater, you can do army. In the army, you can do radio,
theater?
you could do movies, you could do
movies in the army?
you could do all kinds of stuff. You can,
What does that look like? Like, what do you?
Well, you have like a radio station. It's really actually lucrative, and you can do many other things. You don't necessarily have to be in the trenches. It's not like that.
Okay, what'd you do?
I did theater actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I continued to do sort of performing arts in for troops. But,
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so you do that.
So you're there entertainment.
3 weeks, 1 month, 1 month and a half of like training, like everybody else, because this is kind of like the thing you do to make everybody, square and
on the same page.
On the same page.
Yeah.
And then you do what you're supposed to do when you chose to go, and of course people need to test for special things. You have to fit the need, but you can apply for this, you can apply for that. A lot of what's happening when I just discovered that a lot of people who did computers in the army actually became like entrepreneurs.
Oh,
and
right.
have like crazy companies, really successful,
Wow.
selling all these apps and devices all over the world. So
Good for them.
yeah.
Do you think everybody should mandatory, like the States is voluntary? Do you think it should be mandatory? Everybody go?
I think it's a great thing, a
Yeah.
mandatory service for your country, because first of all, if you want to meet people you would never meet any other way, that's the way to do it, because you kind of meet people that you would never be necessarily meeting in your life.
Right.
From all walks of life, and you have to become friends or to work together somehow.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, it's phenomenal. Also, I think what happens here is, and I have a kid here, and he's more American than anything else.
Yeah.
So, I know that there will be a college in the near future somewhere, and I know in the college there'll be parties, and I don't know how much studying are going to be, right? Yeah. And it's very selfish, I think.
Right.
Where you do that, it's kind of not selfish. You become related to a group. You are responsible for other people as well as yourself.
Right.
So that thing changes you.
Yeah, changes how you're thinking about things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's 13. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
Would you suggest him joining the army at 18?
So of course I wouldn't, because he would have his own choice, right? Because by then he's like, bye now.
Yeah, right.
Or not, I don't know. But I think, I think it could be nice to give something back to wherever you are, whether here or there. Or, I think.
Was he born here?
He was born there.
He was born there, so he's a citizen there too, right?
Yeah.
So he could fight over there.
Kind of, yes,
sure.
he could, yeah. It's complicated because his life is here, so I don't know, but
he could do some theater over there.
Yeah,
the army, right?
Honestly, he's American, so his English is not even speaking Hebrew so much anymore.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard.
What age do you have to join there? Is it 18?
Yeah.
It's 18 there.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And what made you, when did you know you wanted to be an actress or an artist?
Always? No, not always at all. I thought I would be, like an illustrator or something to do with the arts.
Do you still draw?
I did. I just had a book coming out last year in Israel, yeah. I did.
Like a kid's book?
No, I do adults, actually.
Adult illustrations? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. I went to art school.
You did?
Yeah.
Which one?
I wanted to be an artist. It's in Florida, called Ringling School of Art and Design in Sarasota. It's now, from what I've heard, it's also like a film school now, also.
Animation, maybe.
Animation, but they're also making they always had animation, but now they're making like movie. They're trying to branch out, I think. But I went there for like a year and a half, and then I was like, I want to be an actor.
You did?
Yeah, And then I moved to New York because I'm from New York. And I moved back and I started taking acting classes and stuff. But I haven't really drawn since.
Yeah.
So it's been like 20 years since I've drawn anything really.
Right. I sort of I drew and illustrated 2 books in Israel. And
That's
then
awesome.
the
Can we get it
last-
here? Is it available?
You could, but it will be in Hebrew. So
That's
they
okay.
weren't translated. I think maybe one. No, I don't think so. And mine, the one that I kind of wrote, and not kind of, I wrote it and illustrated it, just came last year. And that one I'm hoping to actually translate and get it out.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see those drawings. What's it about? The book.
The one I wrote. It's sort of like a little tiny stories in forms of poems, like fables, and I think they're mainly about the journey we have in life, spirituality, our struggles, and what makes it work for me.
Yeah.
And so it's a personal, but also sort of like a metaphor for my spiritual journey, I would say.
Nice. Anything about Wilson Fisk in it?
Nope.
Nothing. No Wilson Fisk. Okay. And you're married. Mm-hmm. How'd you meet your husband?
We met because he was a snowboarder.
Oh yeah.
And I went snowboarding in Europe and sort of decided to take some classes to learn how to do that. And he taught me for a while, and then we became friends, and that was kind of it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. If you never took a snowboarding lesson, you wouldn't have met. Isn't that funny?
True.
That's
Yes.
so interesting.
Yeah.
So he must be good. He must be a good snowboarder.
He's amazing. You can see him when you see the mountain. You can see who's him because he just has a really nice movement. But I, after 3 years, decided to hang my boots and.
Well, you got the man.
I got the man, and the boots and the snow is not for me.
Really?
That's it. I'm done.
That's.
I had some like crazy bad falls, and
Yeah.
I was okay with like that's it.
You know.
We went to Jackson Hole, and you know how it is. I don't know if you know how it is, but it's always on the last run that bad things happen.
Yeah.
So.
You okay? What happened? How bad did it get?
It got bad enough that I still have, like, even till this day, if I need to do stunts, I have to tell them, listen, this hand is like, I need to be careful, and I need to be careful on my shoulder.
Oh, really? Your
Yeah,
left hand, did you break something?
I didn't break, but something happened.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is.
Like dislocation or fracture
Yeah,
or something sprains.
Never
and
really,
stuff.
I'm not.
You didn't go to the doctor again?
No, I don't. I didn't want to know. Like, I'm just going to be fine.
You didn't want to know. And now you're like, I always have pain in my arm.
Exactly. I wonder why.
I wonder why that happened. Well, maybe it's for the best that you just stick with like a paintbrush and a pencil or something. You know what I mean? It's less dangerous.
Yes.
You know?
Pencil is my sword.
How'd you like working with Vincent?
I love working with Vincent.
He loves you.
I love him really dearly. Because first of all, we have, both of us are cancers inside.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's like seeing yourself in a man's form somehow.
Yeah.
It's very odd. It's like, how could you be similar to me? You look so different,
That's funny.
But there's a lot of similarities, a lot of nuances that I get, and I don't think people get,
Yeah.
Sensitivities to certain things. And also, he's just very genuine and very honest, and this is one of the things I really like about people. It makes me comfortable. I feel safe when people say whatever they need to say.
Yeah.
So as an actor, it also really helps because there's no, you give. For me, acting is really about communication. So if you communicate what you really feel, it's a great sort of like a way to have a start in any kind of intimacy, right? Because we also build intimacy right away, because the whole thing is that we see a painting and we fall in love. Right away. We were kind of sort of meant to be, right?
Right.
So it helps that you really understand the nuances of the person's, little ticks,
Did you guys meet off camera and stuff, like get coffee or something.
Yeah,
talk about
totally. We
stuff
became
and-
really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the families know each other, and I know his
nice.
wife was phenomenal,
Yeah.
and their kids, and yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Were you intimidated? Did you know of Vincent before?
I loved Vincent. I mean, I couldn't not believe that this is I was so excited that this is happening because I really liked his work. And apparently he liked mine. And I was really surprised that he saw some of my, Israeli work,
Yeah,
which
wow.
people don't tend to see.
Yeah.
Like he saw in Treatment.
Yeah,
So
the
In
HBO
Treatment was an Israeli show,
Yeah.
and I was one of the people
you won
originating
like
it.
awards for it and stuff.
And
too.
I got like lots of awards that I wasn't there to accept, but I have them.
You still have it. Yeah, that's good.
But so he watched that. So I was really feeling like he really took the time to see who he's working with and how, and so that also helped because also I think he recognized something, and it's just a good click. And he's a very intelligent man, and very talented, and very creative, and weird, and crazy,
Yeah.
in his choices, and I
Yeah.
love that, So very brave, I think.
Yeah, totally. Because I talked to him for my podcast a few months ago, and he went on and on about you and how much he admires you and everything. So it's really nice. Yeah.
I should listen.
You should. It's a great talk.
Yeah.
So, and in your first day, it was the first scene you guys shot together, the one where he's standing in front of that painting and you walk up to him.
Actually, it was the first time
That was
we
the
worked
first
together.
one.
Yeah.
Because he only has one line of, it makes me feel lonely.
Yeah. And it's exactly what she feels.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's like, because he nails it.
Yeah. Did you know what he was going to do when, I don't know, did you guys rehearse it or, that's right.
No, we met with, I think it was Jeff
Loeb.
and either the director or was it maybe Steven the Knight? I can't remember who he was because I met them separately in LA and then in New York when I was already on the job. We all sat down and we were like, do you need anything? Do you want rehearsal? And we were like, we just looked at each other and it was, nope, we need to go.
Yeah.
We need the action, really.
Yeah. Do it. Roll cameras.
Because both of me and him, I think, are very, we believe in the moment.
Not so much rehearsal.
No, I do. I think rehearsal is a good thing, but it's not for falling in love scene.
Right.
You kill it.
Yeah.
You want to have that feeling of, oh my God, am I good? Am I bad? What's he going to do? How is it going to work? The fear, the anxiety that you have in it, it's actually something you can use for the scene.
Does Vanessa fall in love with him right away after he says
so.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Or very quickly?
Definitely. It's an internal, subconscious attraction between them, I think.
I wonder what her dating life was before Vincent. Like, did she always date the bad boys, or did she try to date like a good guy and she was like bored with him or something?
I think she was dating princes and rich people and did not find it intriguing and always end up bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess she could always meet these rich, powerful people because of her own position.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in this season 3, that painting becomes very important.
Yeah.
For Vincent especially.
Yeah.
And he wants, because it's a symbol of your guys' love. It's very sentimental.
Yes.
Right. But rabbit in a snowstorm.
Rabbit in a snowstorm.
Do you have?
There's a whole
version?
thing online. I noticed that people like, is that real? Who's this artist? It's so funny.
Do you know? Is it what is it? It's, I guess somebody probably on set made that or something.
Somebody on set. No, it was an artist that made it for them.
Oh, an artist. Okay.
Yeah, a real artist.
That was commissioned.
But the commissioned, of course, yes. And I think the question was, why was it called Rabbit in the Snowstorm? I think that's that there was a whole discussion about that.
Do you know why?
I don't know why. I never asked. I have my own,
What's your own theory on it?
My own theory about it. Oh God, it's complicated, and I have to really think about it 1 second because it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a few years. Vincent's the rabbit.
No, it's a metaphor for something, for an emotion, when you have a whole space in you. I think that's why Rabbit in a Snowstorm, because it's kind of like... It's weird. It's a complete emotional thing that I have no words for, but I totally get it.
Okay, that's
you know
fine.
what I mean?
That's good enough.
I used to wake up as a child sometimes on the floor. I used to fall from the bed because I used to have very vivid dreams. So I used to fall from the bed.
Okay.
And when I used to wake up, I had this really strange noise, like white noise in my ear, and then I would wake up. But in between the waking up, the falling, and the thing, I would have that noise in my ear. It's a very, like
an ambient noise.
Almost like an ambience sound, or how the TV, like old TVs used to have that,
Yeah.
When,
does it sound like this? Let me show you. Does it sound like this? Hold on. Oh, shoot. Let me see. Wait for it. Does it sound like this?
Maybe higher the pitch than that, and cleaner. But a little bit like that, tiny bit like that, yes. But very, like, you're on the...
I'm on the right track.
Yeah. So for me, Rabbit in a Snowstorm is that.
Okay.
It's for me personally,
Did you stop snowboarding because it reminded you of falling out of the bed?
No, it just hurt. Because the thing with snow is the snow when it's like stormy and beautiful and soft. If you fall, you don't feel a thing, and it's like riding a cloud, and it's the most amazing feeling. And if you fall on ice, it's so painful.
It hurts bad.
And it's also surprising because you don't think it's there. So that's why.
Yeah, that hurts. And you don't want to hit a tree or something, too.
Oh, that didn't never...
I know, but I mean, just in case.
Hug a tree, we call it. Yeah.
Hug a tree?
Yeah.
That's very nice sounding for getting killed by a tree.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, do you have, like, a favorite moment that you shot on Daredevil? Like a favorite day or scene? Have you seen the show? Do you watch your own work?
I don't watch my own work.
Yeah, definitely. Neither does Vincent.
I can't do it, especially if it's ongoing, because it's going to kill it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so internal and personal. Once you watch it, you kind of... It takes away from how you experience it. It becomes a more... not subjective,
Yeah.
More like objective thing, and it's just takes away something. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah. I get it. But do you have a favorite day of shooting or a favorite scene you shot?
From any season?
Yeah, any season.
I think I really like the scene from... It's very small. It's a tiny moment, but I like the moment where I land the helicopter.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Back. That was really cool.
That was pretty cool. That's
very heroic somehow. And I really liked the scene where he makes me an omelet again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't feel the same way,
What happened with Vanessa? She was kind of... I got the feeling, I was like, oh no, she's going to break up with him or something.
And I think she was verging.
Yeah.
She was debating. Was something going on that she didn't feel?
Because it's been a while? Or he was different or she was different?
I think she was different. She's coming back different person. A complete different person. I think the experience that she had throughout the running away, coming back. Do you know how you expect to see someone and then it's just not...
Yeah, it's not the same.
All the dreams that you had, it's just not the same, because what you imagine is not what's happening, and the simplicity with which she, I think, was hoping to have him was not what he offered her.
Right.
He again offered her the kingdom, which she never asked for. So for her, it was like...
What has she been up to in the time? Like, what did she do between seasons?
Oh, it appears that she was going from one place to another, to another, to another. Almost like in a joyful way, from this museum to that country, to that country, to that country.
Globe-trotting.
Yeah, but running away, because it wasn't by choice.
Right. What made her change her mind about Fisk? Like, she came around, she married the guy.
Oh, but you mean season 1?
Season 3.
No, season 1, she was ready to marry him right away.
Yeah.
You know, not right away, but soon. And that's kind of where she was left off. So it was kind of expected to go there.
Okay.
Because you remember he gives her a ring and then he gets caught.
Right. And then she comes back, and then she's like a little on the fence of like, I don't know if this is working out, right?
Well, I think she is on the fence of, for her, it's not about is it working out. I think for her it's about, you gotta let me in. Because if you want this to work out, this is the only way it's gonna work out.
And then he did?
And he did right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he showed her, like, this is how it is, and she's like, oh, she sits down on the chair, and she's like, oh, I could get used to this.
Yeah, she's like, you know, moved on to the dark side.
Yeah.
By choice.
Who should we kill? Right, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That must have been a fun day too, like sitting down in that chair and that whole lead up. Because Fisk is very, very kind of Vanessa. He's very like, what can I get you? What can I do for you? You know, like he's such a powerful guy that's like, well can pop your head with his his hand.
Yeah.
But he's
she's definitely the only person he cannot manipulate.
Yeah.
Because she's so sensitive and, you know, understands what's going on
Which
without
makes,
seeing or being told. She's just very intuitive that way.
And that makes her kind of the most powerful.
Yeah, that's kind of why I hope that they're gonna take it forward in the 4th season. Let's see what's happening.
What would you like to have? I mean, she's at some point they have to get their comeuppance. Really, you know, they have to get a punishment for something.
Well, yeah, you know, yeah.
What do you hope?
Eat what you cook.
Do you what do you hope? What do you hope happens if there's a 4th season? What do you hope? What do you fantasize about doing?
I just hope she gets a bit of like, you know, more. Fighting for him rather than him fighting for her. So protecting him and I hope to see, you know, if she struggles with the decision and choices she made.
Yeah.
And where it took her, and
maybe she'll go snowboarding. Maybe she'll do some snowboarding.
Yeah, no, I don't see Vanessa snowboarding, that's for sure.
She does not snowboard under any circumstance.
Yeah, no, I don't see her as a sporty lady. She might swim.
Okay, she's a swimmer.
Maybe a swimmer.
She's a lap pool swimmer. Yeah. That's funny. How long you been married?
15 years or so.
15, give or take.
Give or take.
And how long did you know your then, you know, pre-husband, boyfriend?
We
A couple of years.
Maybe a year and a half. Into that. It was I knew from the beginning that he's the guy.
You got it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
So your first movie in the States was Munich.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
You did?
Yeah.
I loved it too.
Oh, what an intense movie. And I wasn't sure what to expect when I saw it. And of course, it's Steven Spielberg. And so it was like probably going to be great. But man, it's super intense from like beginning to end is the whole thing.
Yeah.
How'd you get that role?
It was just such a weird, I mean, this is like truly serendipity. Because my son was born, and I was thinking, okay, so great. So now I'm a mom, and so this is where I reached my acting career, and that's great and phenomenal, and I was very happy. And now we move into a new phase of life. Yeah. Little I knew that all the work that I've done the year past, prior to that event, was actually traveling the world. I did a movie called Dina's Tragedies and another movie, and that movie got somehow outside of Israel and into Sundance, and so it got outside of Israel, you know. So this little...
lot of attention.
Yeah, and so a store in London had the DVD, you know, back before Netflix took over. And then
Video stores.
Video stores and the casting director who casted the movie saw me act and sent a piece to him, and everything all of that happened without me knowing, and then just one day, quite soon after giving birth, I got a call, said, hey, there's a director who wants to see you. He's American. He's very famous. You have to learn this thing in English. I'm like, hold your horses. I just had, baby, my memory is way off. There's no way I can learn any lines, specifically not English. And I don't have a fax machine, and leave me alone, kind of thing. And so the casting director from was calling me in Israel, said, listen, you may want to consider that because it's a really good director. And I was like,
hint, hint.
I don't know. And she said, well, okay, fine. I'm not supposed to tell you, but it's Steven Spielberg. And I was like, oh,
That changes everything.
Oh, okay, let me find a fax machine. So I ran around this little town where I lived and found a neighbor with a fax machine, and they faxed it, and I did the audition. And
on a tape, I guess?
Actually, no, this casting director taped me and sent it to the casting director
Gotcha.
in England.
Gotcha.
And after 3 weeks, I got a call saying, hey, you got the job. And I was like, whoa. Wow. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
And then we all flew to Malta, me, my son, and grandma. We flew to Malta, we shot the movie, I met Steven, and then I had to come to New York for a bunch of days. This part was out of the movie eventually, so you wouldn't be seeing it, but it was a lot of beautiful scenes in New York. He cut that whole chunk for many reasons, which I can't elaborate on, but so anyways, so I did that, and then the movie came out. The funny story is that I have to tell that story because it's such an extraordinary behavior, and it shows what kind of person Steven is. So I finished the movie. I was in Israel. I was actually filming in treatment, and I get a call from him, and he was in the car with his wife, and he said, "Listen, Ayelet." I'm like, "Steven? Hi, how are you?" It's such a weird, thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it
and
is.
he said, listen, there's a beautiful scene that I really love, and a specific scene that, was very, very beautiful. And he said, I'm moving it around the movie. I have to cut for these reasons, and I can't find a place for that scene. It just doesn't go anywhere. And I have to cut it. And I love that scene, and I just want you to know that, but I have to cut it. And he made that call, and I said, first of all, I appreciate that he called me to say that to me,
nice
because it's such a nice thing to do.
I love
and
him.
then, he's a great example. I was very spoiled to start with him.
Yeah.
I started with
the top. The top. I mean, geez, who's more top than Steven Spielberg, even now?
And then Tom Hanks and Ron Howard, that was my second big.
Demons and
So, I
Angels.
was very spoiled.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I guess it never made it. The scene never made it to a deleted scene on a DVD or something. That's a bummer.
I don't think he wanted to show the things he deleted.
Yeah.
I mean, for his reasons, and I completely understand.
Yeah, his DVDs.
It's kind of showing the inside of the creation, where it kind of destroys the whole.
I love it.
You do?
I love behind the scenes stuff.
If it's silly and not really important, but if you go and see something that is pivotal to a story and you go, why isn't that there? Then it kind of destroys what's already there, no?
Yeah. His DVDs are always pretty scarce. He never does a commentary for them ever. Drives me crazy.
Yeah. It's overdoing it. Today it's a kind of almost like a marketing device to do all that. But you really don't need that. I don't.
Yeah, I just like it.
Maybe,
I find it interesting. I like seeing behind the scenes and hearing people talk about stories about the movies and stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
good stories. Good stories are always good stories.
Yeah,
right?
I love that stuff. But he's still Steven Spielberg, so he can do whatever he wants. He did whatever. How's Eric Bana? I love Eric Bana.
I was so surprised by him. He's one of the funniest people I know.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. He used to do stand-up comedy, I think.
Yeah, no, he's like, he can imitate anybody doing anywhere. He's really hilarious.
Did you ever see that movie Chopper?
Yes. Oof. So I came to Munich seeing Chopper.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, that's the guy I'm going to work with. So, and then this guy who's very handsome shows up, and he's like the most hilarious thing. And I was so shocked and surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
You know?
He had ears.
Yeah.
His ears were still on.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Chopper, go see Chopper. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy good. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. And then you got Ron Howard directed the sequel to Da Vinci Code, Demons and Angels and Demons.
Angels and Demons. Yeah.
I know a guy in that. Dave Pasquesi was in that. Do you know Dave?
Yes. Very tall guy.
Yep. Yeah. He's on Veep.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude too. He's one of the best improvisers ever.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's been on my podcast.
Oh.
How was Ron Howard? I love these guys. Seem like, and Tom Hanks. Like, what was it like working with these guys?
I mean, I can't even start saying. I'm gonna sound so, you know.
I know. I love
like
it though.
A kiss ass.
Go ahead.
But it's true. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
People with a lot of care for what's right and just really nice and inclusive, and I mean, and Tom, I mean, he's like one of the people I admire because he is incredibly smart and very, very funny, but also so human. It's just a beautiful thing to see a person so successful and so capable, but also, you know, just a human being with a family, with, you know, just funny stories about life. And
sure.
And they accepted me really. I was like so green. I wasn't green in the sense that I didn't do a lot of stuff. I was green in English, acting in English. I was green in this big movie, you know, budget thing. This was like shocking to me. I did not get the trailer size. It was like, why do you need that trailer? I mean, I'd rather hang out with you guys, you know? I don't want these walls, you know?
Yeah. Did you know English pretty well before Munich?
I did, and I acted I lived in New York, so and I did theater in New York, and I did Shakespeare, but still, it's not the same when you do a movie and you don't have 3-4 weeks of rehearsals in that language. It's not your native language. It's a whole other thing.
I'm sure.
So, but then by then I'd created my own way to do it where I feel comfortable enough. I train by myself. I practice with someone lines enough to feel like, oh, this is me, you know.
Get comfortable with it.
Yeah. And also it's been a while, so.
Do you speak any other languages?
Not really. I learned French in school, but I can't really remember enough to tiny bit of Italian, but again I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't speak that language for real.
So how often do you get back to Israel? Do you go back every year?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I go more than once.
Wow. Because you still work there too, right?
Sometimes? I do. I try to do at least one project a year there, but in the last 2 years I wasn't able to do something with it was always clashing with something else.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Yeah, there was a great movie that we started doing, and then Milada, Czech movie that I was doing was happening right and then, and this is something we fought to get for a long time.
Yeah.
So it was like I can't say no to that. I was waiting. It was a lead role.
Yeah.
And a very important role for me. So I kind of had to.
Yeah.
So since then, it's been getting harder and harder to. Timing wise.
Is Mulata still on Netflix?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was doing research on you last day. I wish I had done it a little earlier. I would have watched the movie, but I will watch it now, and put it on my queue. And what's that movie about?
Milada is a movie about a woman named Milada.
Okay.
That's
a coincidence.
Yes. Shocking. Lived in the Czech Republic, and she was a human rights activist and fought the Nazis, and later on tried to oppose the Russian regime, the communist regime that took over the Czech Republic, and paid a very dear price for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And it's important to you, obviously, because your own connections to the war. Is that right?
It was important for me because somehow I thought it was intriguing and again, sort of a thing that came to me from out of nowhere, and I had to notice, because out of all the actresses in the world, they approached me and asked if I wanted to do that part, and if I'm willing to read, and I thought, they must know that I have Czech origins, and they just didn't. It just came to them because of Munich, because of other things. They just thought this was right for me. I don't know, some sort of, and so the serendipity effect,
Right.
I was like, okay, I have to do something with it, and then we worked on the script and revised and changed things, and I kind of helped them get some of the budget, and suddenly I became producer on it. So there was a real investment for me there. It was really interesting. I had a sense of growth as a artist, but also as a from other aspects, helping develop a script, helping develop to get get the money. The whole thing was really intriguing for me.
Do you like that process?
I do.
You gonna do that again, you think?
I think so. Yeah, I definitely want to do it, and I definitely I write a lot. I've been writing for many, many years, and I'm very close to finishing a bunch of projects, and hopefully if I get to where I really want to be, I'll be able to either produce it or maybe even direct it if I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. Do when you do a project, like Malata or any project, depending on what the subject matter is, do you have a hard time after they say cut and going home? Do you kind of just forget about it and leave it on the stage, or do you bring some of that stuff home?
I think I don't. And then I realized 2-3 months later that I'm a whole other person. And I feel like, oh my God, I've been in that hole for such a long time thinking, it's me, Wow. So it totally lingers, and I wasn't I'm not able to cut the cord as much. Milata was really hard because I was very invested in it, and you'll see the movie, you'll understand.
Yeah.
And it has, weak points, but it's worth watching.
Yeah.
Because it's a piece of history, if you like history, for sure.
Sure.
So, within the years, I was like, you know what? I feel like I don't want to act anymore, because sometimes it's so hard.
Yeah, wow.
Because it takes a toll, on me. Especially, and I tend to have these, I started in comedy, and I ended up doing all these dramatics, dramatic roles.
Right.
And it pisses me off, because I'm like, I want this easy, light roles. And no, it keeps coming to that. So I'm like, it's hard for me now to say yes to something like that, because I know what it's gonna.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you did comedy.
I did a lot.
You like comedy? Mm-hmm. Do you watch funny stuff now? Do you watch funny
I do,
stuff?
yeah, I do.
What do you watch?
What did I watch? This week I watched a really funny movie with, what was the name of the movie? Oh my God.
Give me a hint, I could name it. Is it American?
Yes. But it's all gone. Like the name of the actors and the British. Okay, you'll have to cut it out. Because it's embarrassing. But that's me. That's me, because my mind
I
is
do that
racing.
too. I can't remember the thing yesterday.
No, but that's fun. It's like, what's the
happened.
name
Why
of
does that
the
happen?
most hilarious actress?
Most hilarious actress?
Yeah, that's
Who's hilarious? Anna
rounded
Faris?
figure.
Oh, Melissa McCarthy?
Melissa. Yeah,
Oh,
so
so what'd you
Melissa's
watch?
movie, she's playing this agent.
Spy.
Spy.
You
That's
saw
the name of
Spy.
the movie. It's a Spy. There you go.
She played a spy. What's the name of it?
God, that's embarrassing. That's how early it is for me.
No, that's okay. Well, you came here from dropping your kid off at school.
Yeah.
That's nice. You dropped your kid off at school.
Yeah.
That's nice. You didn't take a bus or something?
No.
No.
No. No, it's the time, the conversation time.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. You're close with your son? You feel like you're close?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. He's trying not to, because he's around that age
He's
where
13.
Yeah.
Hey,
Shutting
Mom.
the door.
Shut up, Mom.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that pretty
Yeah.
accurate?
It's like you wouldn't understand it. That's why you think it's not funny.
Did you tell him, well, I've done comedy? I know funny.
Yeah, that's not funny, man. That's not funny, man. It's like, you wouldn't get it.
Did you watch Daredevil?
He didn't watch Daredevil, no.
Oh, that's too bad. I feel like that's like a perfect age for.
I think the first season is really violent for him.
Oh, they're all violent. But he's 13. I was watching.
No, I think first season was more violent.
You think so?
I think. I mean, this is violent in a different way, maybe.
Is it because Vincent decapitated a guy with the car door?
Yes, the door, you know. I don't know.
Like
I have you know. I want him to sleep at night.
Well, excuse me. What happens when? So you say you have a hard time shaking it off. Does that affect like your husband and your kid also? Do you feel like?
I feel like with my kid, I was always able to pull it together. And, you know, the thing with marriage and, you know, boyfriends and husbands is that you kind of let them see exactly who you are. Mm-hmm. So with him and my husband, it could be like sometimes really like you gotta go to the beach and like
right.
send the person away, you know.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Once I went to this facialist and she was doing my hair. She's like, "You have such a weird, heavy energy around you."
Oh, jeez.
I was like, well, yeah,
Thanks
I know. I was like, you know, I was playing this role, and she's like, maybe you should like go like swim in the ocean or something. There's just like relieve that energy.
Everybody wants you to go to the beach.
Yeah, they know me, so that's why.
Is that why? Yeah. You like the beach?
Yeah.
Are you a beach person?
Yeah, beach person. Yes.
Do you do surfing or any of that stuff?
I do boogie when
Boogie
the
board?
water's not cold.
Right on.
And
That's cool.
and I like walking on the beach. I just like, you know, I just like the ocean.
That's nice.
I used to dive, but I can't dive anymore too.
You can't?
Mm-mm.
Why? Because
I had
you hurt your
my eardrum.
Oh, your eardrum. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that from snowboarding?
That's from rehearsals and someone missing the size of my cheek and hitting my hitting my ear and ripping my eardrum.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is that a stage thing?
It's a stage thing.
Oh my Lord! Was that New York?
No, that was actually in Israel.
In Israel.
Yeah.
Fuck. Was it in the army?
No. Theater.
That's crazy. So you were just rehearsing, and they were supposed to slap you, and they
hit. You know, you're supposed to sort of do it on the side here, on the bone, and they missed it, and it was on the ear, and it was.
And they permanently damaged you.
Well, it doesn't, because your eardrum becomes, you know, it heals.
Right.
But when you dive, or at least when I dived, I heard this wee sound. I was like, it freaked me out. So I was like, you know what, maybe
not so much.
That's not so much. Yes.
Oh my gosh! No snow, no water.
Yeah, I know, but I snorkel. If I go,
snorkel?
I do snorkel.
Okay,
yeah.
well, you got something at least.
Yeah, I know.
You were in Man of Steel.
I did that.
You played Clark's mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I mean, Kal-El's mom, Superman's mom.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
It's neat.
How'd you get that? You're a DC and Marvel person.
I know. Shush. I think they just called me. I got a call, said, "Hey, would you be willing to fly to, you know, somewhere to?"
Where did it shoot? Do you know?
Was it?
Was it in London?
No. It was somewhere in the United States mostly.
Okay.
I think it
Georgia
was.
Probably Georgia.
Chicago, I think.
Chicago? No
I think
kidding.
so, yeah.
Okay.
And then Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, would you be willing to fly, meet the director, and then after the meeting read the script and give us an answer? So I said yes. And I went, I dressed really nicely because I was about to meet a director, you know, for dinner.
Zack Snyder.
You know, I was like dressed nicely, and he came from like a whole day of shooting, so he was like, you know,
like cargo shorts.
Yeah, exactly. But we talked, and we had a really great dinner where he told me about the movie and, you know, what he means and, you know, what I think, and we were talking about stuff, and he then gave me the script and said, will you read it tonight and give us an answer in the morning? And I said, I don't need to, because I want it, but I will read it. And I read it, of course. I was clear that I wanted to do it.
Cool.
It was, yeah.
That was your first superhero
That was a
thing,
superhero thing,
right?
Yeah.
Were you like were you nervous about doing like a superhero thing? Because it was different than other stuff you'd done. But it was Superman, so you knew Superman. So
yeah. No, you grow up
cool.
with Superman,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Everybody.
Yeah. Who didn't? Who didn't watch the movie?
Yeah.
When it came out. I just my only goal was to create a real person, right, for that lady, because she's sending it away, and I knew that this was the beginning of the movie, so it sets out sort of tone, emotional tone for the rest. So I just really cared about making sure that it's really moving.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just played it as real as possible.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of like it. Sophie Choice in dressed up in like these, superhero outfits.
Alien stuff and
So that's what it was, and I just made sure that this is what I gave to this part of the movie.
Yeah. And you worked with Russell Crowe, who was your husband.
Russell was my husband, and Zach was my director. It was really cool. It was very sort of manly.
Manly?
They're men's men.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. But he was good, and he's a great actor too. And
Russell Crowe, yeah, for sure.
And Zach was lovely. I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah.
And the sets were just outstanding. Outstanding. Really, it was just crazy. You walked onto a set, and it was a whole other world built.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally. So it was really fun for me to see.
Yeah.
That.
Would you like to do something that big again? I mean, Daredevil is more grounded than like an alien type thing.
Yeah.
But would you like to do some more fantasy type of?
It's first of all, it seems that this is what's going on mostly.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's almost like okay,
You're gonna.
Yeah. If you want to work, you'll end up doing some kind of a. I like roles. It doesn't matter for me if it's in a superhero or not a superhero, if it's a fantastical or not fantastical, as long as it's well written and the role has some rounded angles to it.
Yeah.
If it's filled and
you want comedy.
I do actually, and I write comedy too. One of the projects I'm writing is a comedy. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you ever do comedy classes or anything like that? Did you ever want to do stand-up comedy or improv or anything?
I did a show out of school that was really funny. It was based on it was called Cynthia Hamel. Do you know Cynthia Hamel? She wrote the Women's Guide to Chaos or something. Dating.
No, I think I dated her. I was joking.
Anyways, so the show was kind of like monologues and stories.
Okay.
And so there was a time where I was a director / writer came to me and said, "Hey, let's try to do stand up," and we tried it for a little bit, and I realized it was not the thing I wanted to do.
Stand up's hard.
Hardest thing to do, in my opinion, and it's.
It's not as fun because as an actor, you.
But I do like to watch
people.
it though.
Yeah,
I like
me too.
to go watch stand up a lot.
I go to stand up all the time.
Yeah.
Where do you go? I go to Largo. Do you know Largo?
Oh yeah, you go to Largo.
I go there
Of course,
a lot.
you're here on that side of town.
Yeah.
I go to Hermosa Beach, the comedy and magic club.
Okay, I've never been there.
But I've never been to Largo. But I do have them on Instagram because I want to see what they have.
They have great
Next time
shows.
you guys go, you should tell me.
Yeah. All right, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, I'll go. What's funny? I had Jay Ali on here last week.
Yeah.
And you guys were in a movie together.
Yes.
Darling Companion.
Yes. See, that was a comedy.
That was a comedy.
Yeah.
And written by Lawrence Kasdan, written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who's
Right.
who's like a phenomenal writer and a director.
True.
And this was a dog movie. It was about a dog.
That's where I found my dog.
Is that true?
Yeah, on that movie.
Where? How?
So, this was a story about a dog running away from his family, and it flushes out all the relationship in that family, and with me as a foreigner coming into that city and like a dog whisperer, crazy gypsy lady. So we shot naturally in a pound, like in a shelter.
Oh,
right?
Okay, yeah.
So my son was asking for a dog for the longest time, and I thought, if I'll ever, there's no way I can go to a shelter and find a dog, because then I'll take 10. Right?
Yeah, I know. I would too.
So I never had the guts to do it. But when we shot in that place, there was only one puppy there, and all the rest of the dogs were adults, like mature dogs.
Yeah.
And this puppy was sitting on someone's, knees the whole time. It's like, can I see this dog? And then eventually I just ended up taking him.
Yeah.
And I adopted him. So my dog is from Utah.
Wow. From where?
Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Wow. What's his name?
Spike.
Spike. Oh, cool name.
Yeah.
How old is he now? 5? He must be like 5. Is that around right?
So that's 6 years?
6 or 5, 6. Cute. How big? What kind of dog?
He's a collie mix, short fur collie.
Okay.
Really funky dog because he's like a shepherd dog, but has a complete different fur, like a Jack Russell fur.
Yeah.
Short and thick.
Well, my dogs went completely ballistic when you came to the house.
Yes.
They went completely crazy.
Yeah, I had the smell of a cat and a dog on me.
Well, it's not even that. They bark at everybody. We're still trying to work on the barking. They calm down after a few minutes, but initially they go. You think somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
Because they go so crazy. Ugh.
Yeah.
Shut up, guys. Shut up. You were in Ben-Hur. That was a big movie. Mm-hmm. You've done a lot of big movies. You were in an episode of Transparent. That's cool. That's shot in New York, right?
No, that's a total LA thing.
Is it Transparent?
Uh-huh.
I thought it took place in New York. I'm going to check. I'm just going over my notes. Hiding in a convent. Wrote that down. Okay, cool. I think I got pretty much everything.
Good. So we're done.
I think we're pretty much done. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
having me. I hope you enjoyed your talking with me.
Yes.
I always like, I've known you a couple of years, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
But I always like doing this and talking to people and learning about them and stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. For me at least.
For sure.
So thank you.
Yeah, and tell me, what you thought about the movie.
I will for sure.
What you think.
Do you want to plug anything else? Do you want to plug any social media or websites or anything like that?
What do you mean, like?
Like if you're on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that?
Sure, I'm. So Facebook and me are not friends anymore since I've learned they're sharing information. Mm-hmm. So forgive me.
That's how I got your information. They shared it with me.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I got in touch with you. You knew a lot. But I am on the verge of being addicted to Instagram, and I'm like Ayelet Zurer.
Okay.
On Instagram, and that's really all I do. I don't twit.
You have a Twitter that you haven't used in 3 years.
No, I have a Twitter just so nobody else will use it.
Right.
My name, and I never tweeted. I thought there's too much stuff out there, and
there's a lot of stuff.
I don't want to add my fire, my oil to the fire.
I get you. Yeah. I'll do enough oil. I'll put on enough oil.
You do. I'm
all over that stuff.
You do.
Yeah. Because you're about to sign 5 million things for me, and I sell the stuff on social media.
But you do good stuff, so that's great. That's great. You know how to use it. I just don't. I'm not using it that way, so it's not something I want to do. But Instagram is like, because it's visual and it's beautiful. And,
yeah.
And I follow a lot of
You should
animals.
put some of your drawings up there. I'd love to see some of your drawings. Do you ever put drawings up there?
No.
Oh, I'd love to see some of your drawings on there.
I don't know if drawings on Instagram would work. Would it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I follow artists all the time.
I did a little tiny movie that I did. Tiny short.
Oh, is it like a 2-minute short? Is it on Instagram?
It's like a 20 seconds.
Oh, it's 20 seconds. Okay, yeah.
Like, animation you do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to see that. So go check out Ayelet on Daredevil and Malada on Netflix and on the Instagram. And let's keep our fingers crossed for season 4 where Vanessa just takes over.
Yeah.
She just takes over.
And then she has a cooking class.
And then she does some cooking.
That's gonna really work.
That sounds perfect. I want to see that show. All right. Thank you, Ayelet.
Thank you.
And scene. There you go, folks. That was my talk with Ayelet Zurer. Thank you so much, Ayelet, for coming over and talking with me. It took a while to get that going. I'm so glad that we were able to get together. Thank you so much. And one more time for my socials and my plugs. At EJ Scott on Twitter and at EJ Podcast on Twitter, at EJ Scott 1106 on Instagram, website ejscott.com, Running Blind documentary on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And please leave a rating and a review on iTunes. And you can also learn more about choroideremia by going to curechm.org. You could also donate there if you wanted. And that is about it. Thank you so much for listening. Go check out my past podcasts and check out my future ones. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.